In the last video, we saw how to make multiple simple scenes, but our scenes were what we call static. They weren't animated. In this video, we'll work through the process of adding animation to one of our new scenes and incorporating it into our existing storybook. Let's talk about the animation first. What if we wanted to show Winston in his computer programmer phase, typing really quickly, or possibly learning how to type? We'd normally do that by defining the draw function to contain code that draws shapes that move slightly each frame, and I'll paste in the example we'll use down here. And from the looks of it, it seems like he's learning to type, for sure. So the position of the typing hands is based on the current millis value, right here. That keeps track of the number of elapsed milliseconds since the program started. And combining it with a trigonometric function gives us an interesting value for positioning the hands, which is constantly being updated. What if we want to make this new animation into the scene 4 for the story? We'll actually just have to copy and paste this code into a new draw scene function, which would be the 4th scene. And I'll just delete all this since we don't need it now. We're going to move it into this new function, draw scene 4. Variable draw scene 4 equals function. Paste it in, and there we go. Now, as you might recall, we put in the current scene equals 1 for the draw scene 1, and etc. until just to keep track of the current scene when we are drawing a scene. So we need to do the same thing here, and I actually already had that done. So don't forget to do that if you are writing it yourself. Now you can try it out. Click through a few times. Oops, restart. Oh, we forgot something. It didn't show our scene because we actually haven't updated the conditions in the mouse click function. So we'll go ahead and edit that real quick. If the current scene equals 3 and we click, we want to draw the scene 4. Draw scene 4. And, of course, make changes to this so that it goes back to the first scene. So restart, and it should work. Okay, it does. But you might notice something. It worked, but only kind of, because we could see Winston with his computer here, but his hands weren't moving. It's hard to type code when you're frozen in time. Perhaps you've already caught on to the issue. We're no longer calling the hand drawing code, right here, in a draw function. So it's only getting called once, not repeatedly, and thus only rendering the hands at the moment in time at which it's first called. Perhaps you've already guessed the solution. Define a draw function and call draw scene 4 when appropriate. So we'll do that. Draw equals function, and then if the current scene equals the scene we want, which is 4, the 4th one, draw scene 4. Okay, great, look at that. Let's think this through for a sec. Whenever we define a draw function in our code, it will then get called repeatedly, and whenever it's called, when the current scene has already been set to 4, then it will call the function to draw the scene 4. When it's any other value, it won't attempt to draw anything at all, keeping whatever was already on the screen, like this. Doesn't draw scene 4 until it's the current scene, which is the 4th one. So we still need to do the initial scene drawing in mouse clicked down here. We need to just leave this alone. This logic just takes care of calling every scene afterward. Some of you might be thinking, why don't we just have logic that calls every scene drawing function inside draw, right here? Well, you certainly could, but that would mean that if you added animation to the other scenes, then it would start working immediately. But assuming you don't animate your other scenes, that means you're making the computer redraw those scenes repeatedly for no reason. From a performance perspective, that's not good. If we know we can easily save the computer unnecessary work, we should. It will make our programs faster and users happier. Alright, now that we've discussed all that, here's the story in its clickable and animated glory. See you in the next video.